All right, and the number 7 worst support ability, once again, belongs to the archer. Good old archer. And I'm not. It's explosive trap, okay? But let me put a caveat in here. Explosive trap has it does have a niche situation. With Dev Blow, it becomes really useful. Um, there and there are people who do spec into explosive trap and make it work. Uh, it can work. I'm ranking it low because it it's counterintuitive to what the archer does and what and it's counterintuitive to what the mage does. But it is kind of helpful for warriors in a sense. Now, explosive trap, you set it down just like that, okay? And if you press it again, um, usually it blows up, yeah. If you sit there and attack, you can actually lay traps and keep pressing it, and they'll blow up. But you can lay traps while shooting, and this becomes semi-useful, like if you're uh, getting mobbed. You know, if you got a lot of people around and you're sitting there with multi-shoot, you just holding down multi-shoot and then holding down explosive trap. And so this is going to give you extra DPS. And it can be useful, but the whole sense of laying down the trap where you are and basically having to bait people or bait monsters in to come close is counterintuitive to the range classes, the archer and the mage. And like I said, it can be useful for the warrior, but using up a slot, doing DPS when it's not dev blow, because the trap's going to do AoE damage and hit everybody. So it's good with dev blow because it's that AoE and it can proc dev blow. But using it as just a regular DPS ability with your warrior, it's hard to give up the slot to actually use that. And the other pain in the ass if you don't put it on autocast, which um, I don't I don't agree with putting this on autocast while you're fighting, because that does change the dynamic of how things are played. It's not like charge and with whirlwind or something like that. This is you would be able to constantly be laying traps and shooting and moving. Um, but if you're playing, true, then you would be pushing both buttons at the same time while enemies are coming on you and the traps are going off, and you can run away and be setting traps and they would be hitting them. So it it has its uses, but it's just too much effort. Honestly, it's too much effort for little payoff when you're a warrior. You can use other things and uh, just like whirlwind, and then you would have your travel spell on there, and then rotating shields, and power weapon if you're doing archer, if you're doing warrior archer. But see, here's the other thing: you have to go warrior archer instead of warrior mage, and you lose stuff. You just really do, because the warrior mage is so much better than the warrior archer. It just is. I mean, magic shield alone is just so much better. So trap has its place. It's nowhere near as bad as Venom Aura, but I just think it's too much effort, and it's not it's not something that I would ever suggest putting in your toolbar and using on an archer or a mage. And I can't even really recommend it for a warrior, because it's just, there are other things out there that are better and that can go in your toolbar and that just uh, can get you DPS and can also mitigate damage and things like that instead of having trap. So if you're not doing Death Below, throw a point into trap so you can get down to corpse explosion. That's the bad thing about this archer tree, is you have to take these shitty things in order to get down to a good one. So throw a point, and get down to corpse explosion if you're doing like a mage archer or an archer mage. That is the only real reason to ever put points in it, besides having some type of dev blow build where you use it. So that's trap. Really just try to avoid it if you're just going through the game.